Hello, it's Tilly from Tilly Journals, and I'm here with a bullet journal setup for my new bullet journal. I am moving into this B6, or I have moved into it by the time you're seeing this video, at the beginning of December, and yeah, I just need to set up the first few pages, so like title page for the bullet journal, a key, a page ideas page, my cheat sheets that I have in every bullet journal, and just some bits like that. I think there's about 7 pages. So yeah, I'm just gonna get on with that. I have some bits and pieces. So I have the Tombow Food brush pens. I have the Scribbles That Matter brush pens in orange, purple and green. Papermate flares in the same colours. Tim Holtz Distress inks, and these are Lucky Clover, Carved Pumpkin and Wilted Violet. And then I just have this sort of dauber blending tool. I'll have those linked from Amazon down below. Tombow food brush pen and some Pigma Microns in 3 different sizes, along with a couple of stencils. So I've got this dotty stencil, I have a feather stencil, and I have a cloud stencil. I have penciled things in, which is the first time I've ever penciled anything in my bullet journal before starting. And because I've done that, I think I'll do like the colourful creative bits at the end and just get like the main body down, and then come back in with like the distress inks and stuff, but we'll see how we get on. So yeah, with that, I will hand over to the voiceover and get on with it. I will see you on the other side. Hello! I don't know why I'm saying hello when I've already said hello, but it's because it's another day and I'm now recording this voiceover and I kind of forgot and I'm just a bit distracted. But anyway, we are going to get on with it. As I say, this is the first time I've like properly penciled things in before setting them up. I think it was because it's a new size and I was filming it and I didn't really know what I wanted. So yeah, we are going to start off at the bullet journal with a quote page, and I am using a quote from Walt Disney because Disney is life and why not? So it is, oh god, I can't remember the full quote and I can't see it. Laughter is timeless, imagination has no age, dreams are forever. And I'm just using so for drawing the banner I used the 08 Pigma Micron, and then I'm using the 03 for this timeless, which I am doing in bubble lettering to sort of fill up that space to make it a full semicircle, because I thought that was quite a nice use of space. And I'm still debating at this point whether I want to do it completely in black and white or whether I want to bring in some colour, but I do bring in some colour in the end. I'm just actually, the other letters I can do without a template, but S's are really hard to get right, so I do pencil in an S just to write it there. Then for this imagination, I just split up the width of the page into the right amount of letters, just so I don't like squidge it all in one space, so it's nice and spread out. That was my asking somebody else, my other half's opinion on whether I should include colour, and he said colour makes everything better in life, so go for it. So I did. So now I'm just going to brush letter in laughter. Laughter is, sorry. Yeah. And then move on to this. So yeah, I'm just using these pens I'm using, so the orange, the imagination black, and that purple are all Pentel Touch food brush pens. Then this age I'm using a Papermate flare, but I then realised that is not waterproof, water soluble in other words, so I just go over it in an age in case what I decide to do afterwards, like when I decorate the page, needed me to be able to use water. And then we're just drawing the last banner, and I messed about with this banner for some time and I end up having to tip something out because I hadn't properly thought through like the front and back of banner. So I'm penciling in here is like where the banner would go. I'm just trying to work it out, where I need black, or so where would be like the behind the banner. So yeah, I've worked out that bit, and then I realised I've missed something still, so I do that again in a few minutes, and I think it works out alright in the end. Just rubbing out my words because I worry that you'll be able to still see them, but I smudged my black, so I'm just trying to neaten up where I smudged a little bit there. And yeah, I'm just using sort of a bounce modern calligraphy for my writing, and then I'm like, wait, this should go from this corner, and then this is where I finally figure out where everything should be, and yes, I was right, that should go from that corner, and it's all fine. It works out in the end, and yeah. So I'm like, wait, shouldn't there be a line from this A as well? And then I'm like, hang on, this Dreams needs to be behind, and then that looked weird, and I was like, this doesn't work. So then I Tipp-Ex it out and put the R as if it was, that bit of banner was on top of the other one, and then it finally works in a second. I have to darken up that green though first to make sure everything looks uniform, and I realised that from the top of the R banner I do need a line as well. So there we go, now I have my banner sort of looking right, and we can move on to the attribution of the quote, which is Walt Disney, Timeless Classics. So that's that title page. This is Lunchtime 1917, so it does ghost pretty badly. No bleed through, but lots of ghosting, and I don't mind it. It kind of bothers me more in this video than it does in real life. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to my key page, I decided to draw for my key page a padlock with a key in it, because I thought that was almost amusing. So I'm just trying to draw in the lock, but I'm like, that doesn't look right, so then I just make it a bit more curved at the top. Yeah, and then just drawing in the key at the bottom, and then we will write the different words of the key in on the padlock. I was going to do it, you can see there's two lines at the left, I was going to do it sort of 3D, but then I realised it didn't really look right like that, so I just left it as sort of not 2D, because there's not really a side to padlocks, they're like curved. But yeah, and then we're just drawing the shackle, and then get on with the writing. Oh, and the key. I haven't drawn the key in yet. And the key was one of those things where, you know, when you start doing something, you're like, this doesn't look right, I need to add more. Then you add more and it still doesn't look right, and in fact it looks worse, and you wish you just left it alone in the first place. Yale is a really common brand of padlocks in the UK, which is why it says Yale on the key. Just not proper product placement, but a little bit of cheeky product placement. Not because I love Yale locks, just because I think it adds to the drawing. I don't know. So yeah, just pop it in my key. So I use a dot for a task, a cross for a completed task, half across, so like one line for something I've started but not finished, a C if it is a cancelled task or event, an arrow forward if I am migrating it to the next day or to another day, star for things that are priority, a little birthday present for a birthday, and a little heart for any anniversaries. And I just put, and you can't see very well, I'm pointing it out there. I've kind of smudged the black just because my hand does sit on the page when I write, and because I was writing with a broader pen than usual, the ink wasn't quite dry and I wasn't used to it, so yeah. You can't really tell. I'd kind of forgotten about it until I rewatched this video. I don't do anything to fix it, I just leave it alone. Then this next page, I'm doing my page ideas page, and I'm literally doing it as a page. So it is a page drawn. It is a page drawn on a page for my page ideas. That's hard to say, yeah. Some little like confusion there. So I drew in the circles to then not have to do what I just did, but anyway, I ended up Tipp-Exing out because I accidentally drew a line through my circles, and you wouldn't have a page line through the whole punch of your paper. And lots of people would be like, why didn't you use a ruler for this? And I didn't, because I don't like rulers. You'll see in my collections bullet journal setup, I do use a ruler quite a lot, but that's because I decided to go for a really minimalistic setup, so I just used a ruler quite a lot in that. Next up, we have my cheat sheet, is what I call this. Basically, it tells me how many squares I could have to divide the page into to get different amounts of squares wide. So on the width way, I do 1 to 8, and then 2, 3, 4 with a gap between the boxes. And on the long ways, the other page of the paper, I do just 1 to 8. And I do actually lose some footage of me drawing the second page of this, but I don't think you're that bothered probably because I'm just drawing it in lines. And if you want to know, so this is a B6 Leuchtturm 1917. If you want to know the widths, I know it's not a standard bullet journal notebook, but if you want to know the widths, in a second I do write them in. And I'll explain when I get through to the writing what the writing means, because so I write a number to say, a number in brush lettering to say how many sections there are, and then I write a number to mean the amount of squares to make that number of sections, and then there's in little a plus and another number, and the plus and the other number are sort of how many other squares there are. So for that 8, you can only do 2 wide, but you have 6 left over. So yeah, that will say 8 in brush lettering and then 2 plus 6 in another pen, if that makes any sense. So yeah, now I'm just going to do, well, I'm going to start the same thing on the other page and then lose a load of footage. So we'll then cut through to about the page half done and just finish it off. I don't know whether you can tell, but like I'm just looking at the colours of my nails and they're blue because I am always cold. Like, and it's not just me having, like it's not just, no, what I'm trying to say is the house wasn't like freezing, I was just really cold because I'm always really cold. So yeah, that is the 2 cheat sheets written in, and then I'm just going to pop a title up, and again penciling this in because I'm just going to do some hand lettering I'm not quite used to yet, so I prefer just to put some guidelines in to draw around the letters. And if you're just getting started on bubble lettering, that is the easiest way to do it, and it actually works really well. So yeah, that's that. And then I'm just going to add a drop shadow, and I decided to do it as if each letter was its own individual thing and put the drop shadow over other letters as well, because why not? That's what I wanted to do and it works. Then I will go through and pop all the numbers down as well. So just finishing off the drop shadow, and for my drop shadows I nearly always use a brush pen because I just prefer the look of it, because you get some line variance in the shadow, because you would get line variance in a shadow. Like a shadow is not always exactly the same, and I pretty much always pretend the sun is coming from the top left corner of the page. So there you go, those are the numbers of small spaces that I'm writing in here. That's what those numbers are, 1 to 8 and 1 to 8 and then 2 to 5 on the second page. And these numbers I'm writing in purple are the number of small squares. That little piece of paper you can see I brought in on the right are where I counted and did the bit of maths you need to do this. But it just means, you'll see me in my other bullet journal videos, just I refer to this all the time. It just makes life so much quicker because you just count it once at the beginning of your journal and then you don't have to worry about it again, unless you want to use something that you don't have a cheat for. But you sort of learn what you tend to use and what you tend not to use, so you do tend to learn. So this page is just going to be 4 months worth of calendar, and it's not like a traditional future log. It's literally just for my work shifts, because I get my work shifts in 4-month blocks, and I like to be able to see it like this so I can work out when I can go on annual leave. So what I'll do with this is I don't do anything during this video because I don't actually write very much in this video. I don't put any of my page ideas down and I don't fill in this calendar. But what I like to do is I like to put my shifts in, any big things that are happening on weekends and things, and my other half's shifts in, as well as any, like my parents are going away because I live with my parents or anything like that. I put that in as well, just to give me more of an idea of the time I have and when we'll work the shifts that I'm getting annual leave. But yeah, so that is 4 months of calendar. I am gonna really quickly, I speed this up even more, write in all of the dates. I think this is sped up to like 9 times speed. Something ridiculous anyway, 7 maybe. But yeah, so just writing in all of the dates, and I keep pausing because I'm like, my other half was in the room when I was filming this, and I was like, sweet, when does January end? When does February end? When does March start? Which you would have thought I could have worked out myself, but or had a calendar open, but I didn't have a calendar. My phone was doing something, updating maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I couldn't look at my phone, and I had what you're seeing, the video on my screen, so I could see that I was staying in frame, etc. I do just pop the first 3 days of April onto there as well, just to make things fit better. Here I'm debating what sort of lettering to do, and I just decided to do some brush lettering with a little bit of swirly fanciness added. I'm not sure how I feel about my flourishes, but they're fine. It will do. So now I'm just going to go in with a rubber and rub everything out. And again, this is really sped up. Most of this video is on 3.5 times speed, but there's bits of it that are faster. So yeah, I'm just going to go through every page and rub all the bits out I want, and then we will go in and decorate. See, like, I don't think you can really see the smudging on that page, so it just doesn't bother me. That's why I've just left it alone and not tried to do anything about it. I mean, it might bother you, but it wouldn't. Decided it didn't bother me. So now I am starting to decorate the pages. So I'm pulling in this cloud stencil, which I just washi tape down, and then I use my Distress inks, my dauber, and then each ink I have a ink pad for, the bottom of the dauber for. So I just change that throughout the video, which I don't think it's very obvious that I change it a lot of the time because I'm a bit more zoomed in, but yeah. And I do learn, like, this is my first time using these inks like this, and I do using these inks full stop. They were in my latest haul because I have only just bought them, but yeah. So it was a bit of a learning curve, and there were things I wouldn't do again, and there were things I would. With some of these clouds, I do catch bits of other cloud when I'm doing them, so I think when I do this, I catch that one above. I just leave it alone because I'm like, whatevs, it just looks like it's hiding behind that banner, it's fine, and I just leave it. But I might have, next time I might like washi over the bits I don't want to use. Then for this page, I just go to decide, good words. I did just mock myself, that is what that was. I decide to go around the corners of the page. There you go, that was me changing the dauber out. Go around the corner of the page, just distressing the corners essentially, and bringing some of the colour in. And then I'm like, what can I use to protect that page? So I just grab, this is I have a paper note mouse pad with a painting on from one of the museums in Italy, I think. So I just use that to protect the other page whilst I do this. Yeah, just putting the green dauber on, and I'll just do the top corner as well. And I quite like how this page came out. I think I like this look. I'm really enjoying using the inks. I think I'm going to have to invest in some more stencils and stuff. So yeah, this is where I get a better idea. So as well as taping that down, I tape over the bit that I don't want to use. So I just wanted the page, as in the page I've drawn, to have these speckles on. So I washi taped at the edge of the page so that it didn't go through. And so you could see what was happening. That was, yeah. And then we'll just do the very top of the page as well. I'm just trying to line it up nicely to make any half circles I've left complete circles. So I'm just trying to line it up, and then we will re-washi tape. So again, washi taping along the top and along the side, cover up any bits of the page that I don't want to cover. And just going in with the green, and I haven't gone for a very deep green there, just kind of like, this is where I make the only proper mistake I make during this. So I decided to do this as a watercolory background because I decided that would look cool, but I forgot the purple and the green pen I've used on the spread are, so that's just spraying some water on, and so it smudges everywhere. And I just decide, like, I realised before I did it, but I was like, you know what, I don't even care, I just have it slightly smudgy. So yeah, just dry it off with a bit of Picture, and you can see the purple title from the other page coming through. But I just decided I didn't care, it's fine, it's a notebook at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if it's got a few mistakes in it. So just popping the ink onto, the plastic sheet I'm using is actually just a piece of laminate, So it's a laminated sheet that hasn't got anything inside it, and I use it for this, and I use it for cutting washi tape on so that I don't waste any. So I've just been and dried that page with a hairdryer, honestly. And we'll move on to the last page where I basically just put a load of feathers on it. And this feather stencil it's one of the prettiest, but it is the most fragile, because those little bits that poke out do keep getting caught when you're going against the way they're on. But it works okay. And for the first page I kept moving it to try and like make the feathers in the best possible place. Then for the second page I'm just like, oh, can't be bothered with this, and I just leave the stencil still and put in as many as I can. So yeah, and then I think once I've done that, I'm basically done with this setup, and I will flick through everything and show you what I've done. So yeah, that's it. So while I finish this off, I'm just going to chat to you a little bit about why there are only this few spreads in. I keep most of my collections in a collection bullet journal. These collections that I have put at the front of my journal are ones that I fully only expect to use in this journal. So my key I just like to have at the front of every one, and the page ideas I just like to have at the front of this journal. Anyway, then what else have we got? The cheat sheet is different depending what notebook it is, so you need it in each notebook, because Leuchtturm and other companies do just tend to change slightly their layouts of their pages. So I just like to have it at the beginning of every notebook, so I know it's the correct one for that notebook. Just makes life easier. So yeah. And then this is for 4 months only, this work shifts one, and you could argue that I could put 4 months of a future log in the front of this, but I just will do a full year, or I'll have done the same. I haven't done it when I'm recording this voiceover, but by the time you've seen it, you might have even seen it. Anyway, in my collections bullet journal, I'd like to have a full year of future logs all together. During that like little ramble, my computer made a noise, so A, I'm sorry if you heard that, and B, it had a massive yawn, so I'm sorry if you heard either of those things. Was not my intention. But yeah, I'm just inking in the last few, and I do love these distress inks. I will definitely be buying more and experimenting more with them and buying more stencils. So yeah, that is all of my setups. I'm just going to have a clean around the desk and get everything away, and then I will hand over. Oh no, I'm going to do my index page as well. So in a second I will hand it over to Future Me to show you the finished spreads. Okay, so that is everything all filled out. That is the index there, which I'll just show you. It's very boring because it's an index. So we just have my quote page, which is just from Walt Disney. I did have to use a little bit of Tipp-Ex, and I realised I hadn't properly thought through where the back of this banner would be, but I think it works now. I think. So that's why I ended up using a bit of Tipp-Ex. Yeah, we just popped in some clouds because dreams and clouds, and yeah. Then we have my key page, which I've done as a padlock, because why not? And then, but it's got some bleed through from this fiasco, but anyway. And then we have a page ideas, which is a page. I enjoy my little amusing matchy things. Here we have my cheat sheet, which is basically how many bits you have to split your page in to make different things. So it does like 1 to 8 of just splitting it up, and then if you have a gap between them, and the smaller plus number is how many squares you've got left over. However, because I did the watercolour after this, I forgot that these 2 pens are water soluble. So when I did the watercolour over it, it bled, and it bled this ink too. But oh well, these things happen. It looks alright, it just looks a bit messy, but that's fine, it's sort of a messy page, so whatevs. Then we just have these 4 months of calendar, and you know what I haven't done? I haven't put what months they are. I should probably just... I need a pen, which I can't find. Anyway, this is December, January, February, March, because they're the 4 months that I'll be on my next rotation at work. So that's just to put my work shifts in, because we get them in 4-month blocks, and it's just nice to have a look at it to see where annual leave will fall. You know what I might do? I might just put in an orange line there, there, and there, just to mark she works do it on every the first of the month. And in fact, should we just do it? Let's just do it all the way across. And that will just make it a bit more obvious where the months split up, and bring in a bit more of the orange from the title. It's like, where's the other day? There. Yeah. So yeah, there. December, January, February, March. Just will give me a glance at my work shifts. I'll probably put my other half's work shifts and any big events on this page as well. I really like B6 size. It's like not as big as an A5, but also not so like it's less intimidating to work on a page. Like, I've never done this page in my A5, and I love this page. I love how it's come out, because it would have just taken forever. But it's still big enough that you've got space for like a decent sized monthly calendar on one page. So yeah, that is everything for this video. I will be showing my December setup, or actually I think you've already seen my December setup. How confusing. As well as 2 videos, oh, let's pop this back in the planner, as well as 2 videos in my collections bullet journal, which is also in my B6, which is this one here. You'll be seeing, or you'll have seen, or be seeing my the beginning of my collection setup, which is the other things most people would have at the beginning of a bullet journal, and you will be seeing sort of my spreads in that for 2019, so like goals and any yearly trackers I've got for 2019. So you've either go check out those videos if they're already up, or that is not where I want that elastic to be, or subscribe so you don't miss them when they come out. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Sorry, I just want to get this back in to show you how everything looks in my planner, but I'm too tired to be doing this bit because I can't get it back in properly. So yeah, that's what it looks like in there. And let's just pop one of the bookmarks in there and one of them in there. So yeah, that is everything I have for you. As I say, that's what we've got coming up. Subscribe, like if you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!